to Crafting Wellbeing, where we craft together in real time. I'm Hadriana, and we'll be going through colouring in this lady using brush nib marker pens. What I've created are 3 different mini tutorials. This one will be focusing on colouring her hair. There's another one for her skin tone and another one for her blouse, all of which is linked down in the description, so you can start at any point where you feel you want to tackle this project, or you can pull away from what you need. So for example, if you want to just focus on her skin tone, you can do so. So as I mentioned earlier, is that I'm going to be using brush nib marker pens. The brand that I'm going to be using, if I pull out one, is the Ink Lily brand. Now I'm using this, so all the numbers that you can see here, or any numbers that I use, are related to this brand. But of course you can use any brand that you do have, and I've created it so that we've got the colors here as well as the numbers for those who've got the Ink Lily colors. But then you can choose something similar, or of course use any color that you wish. The technique is all the same. So as I mentioned, we're going to be focusing on coloring in her hair. So the numbers for the Ink Lily brand is CG2, CG3, CG9, 209 WG, and a white gel pen that we'll be using to create some highlights and definition. So if I put this aside, another thing that I do that I want to share is that I use something like an old cup or anything like that as my project, sort of keep all my project pens together. So as you can see, I've got all the project pens that I'm going to be using, excuse me for the noise, that I'll be using here for this project. So I am going to pull them out. One, so you don't keep hearing all those tinglings. Right. So what we're going to do, as I said, we're going to start off with her hair. And the other thing I forgot to mention is up here are also the list of the pens that I'm using in the Ink Lily brand. So at any point that you didn't quite catch what I was saying, I may have missed out the number, at least you can see up here the list of the pens that I am using for the project at all times. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the lighter color, which is the CG2. Oh, my top doesn't fit in properly back on, so I'm just going to put that to the side. And I'm going to be using as well the CG3. Now the other tip, the reason why I said the other one doesn't fit in there properly is because what you can do is to just turn it and stick it on the back like this. So as I said, we're going to be using those 2 CGs, 2 and 3. I'm going to start off by just colouring in this side of her hair. I'll leave this area for you to do yourselves, but it's the same technique. So as I said, I'm going to use let's get the right one, the CG2 first as our lighter color. And I like to use the lighter color as the base color to focus my mind on where I'm starting. So even before I get started, I have a little look, excuse me, of the different areas of the hair. Now I'm looking for where there are, if I bring it down a bit more, some dark shading where there is overlaps of the locks. So what I'm doing is I'm not looking about the direction of the light in which it's coming from. I'm more looking at what is creating a shadow on something else and what is higher up that I want to show that it's lighter. And the good thing about this particular drawing of her hair is that you can already see that it's given us a few hints of where the dark areas need to be. So we'll be focusing a bit more on those areas so that it just makes it easier, doesn't it? Just to have that that guideline. So we'll be using it. And what I'd like to do is to also focus on getting that round look as well of the locks. So as I said, I'm going to start off with my CG2, and I'm going to start on, if I show you, I'm going to start off on this one here. So I'm just going to gently put down the CG2. And the other thing when you're using your pens is to be careful of not pressing down really hard, because then you're wasting your ink. And we know that that can be quite consuming and quite expensive. So the way that to check, you can see I'm gently brushing it down. You can gently do circles if you wish. But the one thing that I would suggest is, if you're not sure how heavy your tension is to bring down your pen, your nib, all the way down to the bottom. And as soon as you see the color, that's your pressure. And the other thing that I'm doing for control is I'm holding my pen all the way down the bottom. So I've really total control of the color that I'm laying down. So I'm just finishing that off. And the CG3 that I'm picking up now is the start of creating the shading. So the start of making that dome round look to each one of her locks. So I've got the CG3, and I'm just going to, on the edges, so you can see I'm following this dark edge here, the dark sort of pen marks here, if you like, and here as well. So I'm bearing in mind in that. And also I can see some movement of how the locks are plaited. So I'm just going to do little flicks from the edge here, hope you can see, and up. I will try as much as possible to not turn my image around, but please feel free to turn it however you feel is most comfortable to you. So I am going down with my pen nib, and I am flicking it in the order, so down to the edge, and I'm flicking it over. And take your time. I'm just going all the way down to the bottom. All the way down, there's little flicks, and I'm going to go up the other side now. And you can go, which I will do as well, you can go from the top down as well. It really is up to you. And you'll see, I'll show you another way. I'll just turn her slightly. Is that you may find it easier bringing it towards you. So you may find it easier to go to the top with the tip of your nib and bring it in. Just little flicks like this. So you choose. You may even have a different way of holding it. You just position your artwork however you feel you want to. Now I'm going to go back to my CG2, and now I'm going to be looking at blending the two ends together, but also focusing on trying to get this top part here light so that it's got that true dome effect. So I'm just going to, where the two bits end, the two colors end, I'm going to just gently go in with the CG2. You can see I'm just gently, all I'm doing is dabbing, just doing little dots just to get that And I'm going to go up again. What I'm looking for is the light to come up just a little bit lighter. And that's the good thing about brush nib pens, pen markers, is that it will move the colour. And I'm not going to worry about that. That's the other good thing. We can just go over that when we're ready. Okay, so that's one. I'm going to go back in again, holding my CG2 still in my hand. I'm now going to look at where else I want to start doing. So I'm going to focus on the top of here, I think, first, and then come down. So what I'm looking at is which strand of hair is making a shadow over another. So this one is clearly going over, and underneath come out these strands, these plaits. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on doing these first, and then we'll come down to here. So as I say, I'm going to use that CG2 just to mark where I'm going to be colouring in. So we're going to be 2 in 2 at once, and across here. And I've got my CG3, and I'm going to do the same thing as I've done here. I'm going to be flicking it in to the middle because I want to create that round dome effect. And all this is doing at this stage is marking where we want the shade or the shape to start going round. So I'm going to go in again on the other side. All the way around. And again, I'm going to go in. Oh, let's do this bit as well, I think. Let's do this as well. This is my CG3. Just going back in to do this part as well. And I'm going in with the light color, the CG2. And I'm going in the middle. Yeah, I'm going between the two here. And I'm just dabbing because I think, because if I had more room, I would have done this, which you can do to move the color back. Or just dab it. Just move it out of that space if you like. Okay, we're going to keep going. What I'd like to do is this part here. So again, I'm going with my lighter grey, which is the CG2. And I'm noticing, even as I'm going around now, is that I can see that this is all under. So I will be just doing part of it, just to begin with. You see, I'm just stroking it. Yeah, so I will be doing just this bit up here, along to here. I'm just doing this so you can see how far I'm going to go. Just going to go up to this bit here. And you can see I've gone over there. I'm not worried about it. Right, so again, I'm going to go in with my CG3. And I'm having a look at, again, as I was saying before, what overlaps what. So I'm going to focus on this one first. So this has got a bit of shading from here. So we're going to add the CG3 like this. And there's a bit on this side. So therefore, we're going to show that with our CG3. I'm going to go down here like this because I want this to overlap. Show that there's shading between them two. And then this is going underneath this here, this one here. And let's have a look. Again, we can see there's this strand coming out, and there's a bit in that seems to be coming out from there. So I want the shading to show on there. And also I'm going to do it in here because I can see that this one is behind. Now we're going to do this one differently. We're not actually going to do any blending at this point. Okay, we're just going to do this part onwards, slightly different. So I'm going back in with my CG2, and again the light color is not only to create the light shading of where the most of the light's going to be on, but it's also for me to mark where I'm coloring in. So I'm going to be coloring in this one all the way down to here, and this one as well. Let's do the two of these together. As you can see, I'm just swiping it down, because this method, you don't need to really worry about that. If you want, you can just soften the edges like this if you like. But at this stage, it's not, you don't need to worry about it that much, but it's up to you. You decide how you feel you want your coloring to look. Remember, you can see it in front of you, and you do, these are tips, okay? So you can choose. You may find that you've got a way that you think, oh, that actually works for me better. Then please do so and share it with in the comments what you found works for you. So again, I'm going in with my CG3, and I'm going in these dark areas, because remember, I can see that this is clearly underneath these two, and they're casting a shadow over this lock here. So I'm choosing, I have to be careful of ears there, so one of our ear there. And even if you go over, it doesn't matter. When we go over with the skin tone color, it will just look, that color will look just a darker brown, a different shade of brown, which is perfect. You see, I'm going down a bit more because we're focusing on these two here. So I want it to have that curl, so I'm focusing on this one to get the curl. And then here, so just work your way down. And I'm doing the same on this side. Because if you think about it, when you look at a shading of a ball, let's say, the other sides of it looks as if they're going into the shade, isn't it? Whereas the top part of the ball is more lighter. There's another way of sort of visualizing it. So as I said, I'm not going to do any blending. I'm going to leave it like so. And I'm going to go in again with my light color, my CG2, and I'm going to color in even more. I'm going to come down there a bit later, but I'm going to go here. Because what I'm looking for is to hopefully complete all of this section. Now, the good thing about this method is you can, as you can see, I'm just coloring it in by just swiping it down and not worrying too much about the locks or what's going over which one. Just coloring it in like so with my CG2. Now got my CG3, and I'm going to do the same like before. I can see that this lock, part of it's actually beneath these two. So I'm going to continue. If you remember, we made this bit dark, didn't we? So I'm just going to extend that. a bit more, and I've noticed that even though it's up that way, then it sort of seems to swap around so that this one looks like it's getting the shadow from here. So I'm just going to go over this side like so, and again I'm looking all the time, I'm looking at what covers what is the shadow, and also the shape of it. I want to make sure that each one of these locks are round in color, in shape rather. Bring it down a bit. So you do that, you go through. Again, I'm looking at this area here. What I'm doing is I'm not going to worry about whether I can see the background through her hair. I'm going to color it in. So for example here, could look like it's the background color, but I'm just going to color it in like so. So all of here is dark because it's behind. I'm looking at here. This is a little twist, so it seems as if there is a lock that's going over and under this one, so therefore that this is on top of this one here. I'm going to make this darker. All right, so that it does look like it's behind here. And here, they just, in my eye, let's have a look. Yeah, they just look like they're creating a shadow against each other. So for that, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do is just do a line like this down to the bottom. And again, I'm going to change over to my CG2. And you can continue doing, because this is all that I'm going to be doing for now. Well, in this part is going down like this. So I'm just doing these around here. So I'm going to do this part and up. So I'm looking, I've got my CG2 still in my hand. And as I said, I use this for marking where I'm focusing on. I'm going in with my CG2, CG3 now, and I'm looking at, you see this part is dark. So we're going to start that shade there with shadow. And I'm going to make this one look a bit more rounder. I hope you're now starting to see that it's taking shape. We are going to do more in the depth of colouring with the other two colours, the 209 WG and the CG9. We're going to be using that to create even more depth, but this is just the start. So here I can see that this is all behind these two, so I'm just going to go in with my CG3 and just colour that all in. To say the other colours, the other two dark colours is what's going to start giving it the round shape and depth. I'm looking at here, and this looks over these two, so these two are the ones I'm going to create the shadows over. So it really looks like this is over the top, but it still means that we go in and give it that round shape. So what I'm thinking as I'm doing this is that to help me know which one's under, so I'm not just doing a little bit of the shading like so, I'm actually doing quite a bit of it so that it's really more obvious. Hope you can see that I'm actually going down further so that one, it matches where what is shading over each other. So this is coming a bit lower. Again, this looks like it's getting covered by quite a few of them, so we'll make that darker. Let's go here. You see, I'm just working my way around. And as you're going along, don't worry if you've missed any, or you don't worry about that, because as you go along, just changing back to my CG2 to finish off this bit. As you're going along, you will see more as you start making your darker shadings. You see, I'm just stroking these parts. Bring it down a bit. With my lighter color. And I'm now going to put the lighter color aside, and I still hold on to my CG3 and just look at where the shadings are. So here, some shade here, because this looks like it's over the top of that. And then here again. So you have a look. You may decide that you want it to look different. You may feel that something else is overlapping. You know, and you want to create your shade differently. That's fine. It's yours. And I promise you, no two is going to look the same. Always going to be slightly something different. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my 209 WG, and the reason why I'm going in with this color first, if I bring the palette back, the reason why I'm using this one first is that I don't want to go straight to the dark one in areas that I don't need to. I'm going to be using the 209 as a way of starting that process or going down into the deep areas. So let's have a look. So I'm just looking around for the areas that are behind, like I really want some depth. So on a glance, I'm looking at here because these two are covering this particular part. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the 209 in like so. And this we will be doing some form of blending at the edge. So this is what the CG3 is going to be used for. Is, for example, at the end of the 209 that we've put down, I'm going to use the CG3 just to soften that connection so it blends in better. So again, I'm looking, there's this bit here. It looks like it's between those two. I'm going to start off with doing it slightly. So you see, I'm using the tip of the pen. And remember to check your and this is the the CG3 that I'm using here now. And remember to always check your pressure if you're not sure, you know, by lifting up your pen and just gently bringing your nib down. And as soon as you see your color, that's your personal pressure. And see, I'm just going in between the two. So this is back with my CG3 is what I'm using here, just to soften, you know. So I'm swapping again back to my my 209, and I'm going to go back up. So this is what you'd be doing. You'd be going up, down, checking which areas. So I'm going back up there, and I'm seeing that this one is behind these two. So I'm going to go in with my 209. So I'm starting right at the top, and I'm going to use my CG3 just to soften the edges, just slight pull, because what you don't want to do is to go over the color. At this stage, what you'll be doing is removing the 209, your darker color that you're putting in there. So always go for the edge. The reason why I'm going here, because I feel as if I want these two bits to really look as if they're on top of the middle one here. So I'm just going to go in, see, very lightly, just dots, I think will do, like this. And what I'm trying to do is to make sure that there are no gaps for this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next bit here. This is my 6G3. Sorry, my CG3. And I'm just softening the edges. So I'm going right to the edge of where I've put down my 209. And softening it. So again, I'm looking here. And excuse me. Excuse me, everybody. So what I'm doing here is I'm seeing this bit is deeper than these two. I really want to make it so it looks right bit within deep between them. So I'm using my 209 and I'm coming all the way down, and again I'm looking at here. I feel as if I want this part of this strand to really look as if it's down deep and this is more higher above it. So by doing that, I'm just going to use the 209 just to bring it a bit more. Yes, I'm starting more onto her skin there, and I'm bringing it up on one side first, just to have a look. And I'm going to use my CG3 to just blend those edges in by going to the tip of it, just brushing it like so. Really on the edge. Like so. And you can notice that I am using the same direction when I'm doing this as well. Because the last thing you want is for your pens to be going in different direction, your strokes looking in that way, because it will eventually have it really will help the way that the strands look on your image. So please keep going in this direction. I'm just making this bit darker because I'm seeing that I want this bit of the strand to show a shadow here. And I'm going to go back in with my CG 3. Like so. Excuse me, everyone. Bit dry. And again, I've gone in with my 209, and I'm looking at here. This is really dark, so I want to make this darker by using my my 209. Now I'm looking at it. I feel it's a little bit too dark. So for example, this is an example where I'll take my CG3 and I will go over it just a tad to soften the darkness of it and bring out the edges like so. So I'm pulling the edge of the dark color, so of the 209, so that it creates the shading. It becomes part of the shading of the two strands that are there. Again, adding to that sort of dome shape, like, and really pull it up. I'm going right to the edge of that color, and I'm gradually bringing it up. like so. And I'm going to go in again. You can see I'm just moving around. I'm looking at here, maybe here a bit more. Maybe going in with my CG3 just to soften it a bit. You see, I'm going to go over it because I feel that I've made it a little bit too dark, so I'm going to go over it with my CG3. So I still want it to look dark, but not so intense there. Because I brought it, what I felt is that I brought it down too far. So I was just trying to push it up a bit. So here, I want to show that this is shading over here, creating a shadow over here. I'm just going to use the smallest amount of the 209 just to push in that bit there. Going to get my CG3 just to go over like this, and just work your way around it. Just work your way around what you're coloring in. So here I want it to be darker, so I've got my 209 and I'm just stroking it into that color, sorry, that space, and taking my CG3 and I'm going to go over it because I feel that it's a little bit too harsh. And I'm doing the same as I did over here. I'm just pulling some of that dark color over to the two locks that's beside it, just so it still creates the shadow, because even though it casts a shadow here, remember they too will cast a shadow between each other. So again here, remember I was saying that this bit here needs to be darker and here, so that this lock looks on top. I'm just adding a bit of that 209 and I'm going in with my G3 just to soften the edges. So I'm just looking at this, looks like it should be darker. But I'm just going to stroke around the edging because I'm not sure how dark I want that to be. So you can see I'm just going down the side of this one here. Yeah, this strand here with my 209. Let's have a look. How far do I want to go? I want to go about here and have a look. Okay, I'm going in now with my CG3. I'm going back in now with my 209 and I'm looking at these areas. I'm still going around, and have a look at yourselves at what's in front of you. Yeah, I'm coming back in with my CG3 just to soften those edges. And I'm going back in now with my 209. Okay, let's see. I'm just having a play now to see where I feel I want to put this dark color. I'm looking over here. I'd like you to do the same way I'm moving around, because that what's happening is once you see one area is dark, then you might feel you want to lighten or darken a different area of your your color in your image. Because I always say with hair as well, see, I want this to look on top of here. That's why I'm using my 209. That you can just start anywhere on the hair. If you're not sure about a particular area, just go and do another area that you are sure about, and then you'll find it starts to come together, and you'll see more clearly what that fold or color needs to be, darkness, etc., based on what you've done already. You can see I'm just looking at this one as well. That was with my 209. I'm with my CG3 now. You can see this is really where the real magic starts happening. When you start putting in those darker areas, you should be seeing your locks looking sort of more realistic, if you like. Having more of the curves. You see all I'm doing, that was my 209, and always you'll see me going with my CG3 just to lighten up those areas. Let's have another look all the way around the ears. Just be careful of not going onto the earrings. Like this. On two sides. Just going to go in with my CG3. Just having another look. Maybe just add CG3 to the edge, like so. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting away the 209. Oops. And I'm now going to get the CG9. Now, as you remember, I was saying that it is quite a deep color. So I would tend to use it. I just move it. See, yeah, let's do it this way. So I've got my CG3 and my CG9. So yes, I'll be going in with the CG9 to create deeper parts of the image, but sometimes it may, as we did before, seem a bit harsh. So that's where your CGs can come into play. So depending on what it is, we'll have a little go and you'll see that I'll put the CG9 down, but I put the CG3 down, but it's still not light enough. That's when I can go with my CG2 and work that in to get it to where I want it to be. So when my CG9, thinking, where shall I show? I'm going to do it here. So you got these two over this. So for example, I'm going to go in here with my CG9. And I've really exaggerated it. And I didn't want it that dark. So I'm going to go in with my CG3 first. And I'm going to start off by not going over it yet. It's just going to the edges and pulling it inwards. And I'm going to go up a little bit more and pull it inwards. So what I'm doing is I'm spreading out that color. And again, as you can see, actually, it's doing the business, as you would say. Yeah. All right, so now I'm going to go over. So for example, I want this area to be lighter. So I'll go in with my CG2 and just color that in so that it's a bit lighter when it comes down to here. All right, so again, I'm going to hold on to my CG3 and I've got my CG9 in my hand. And again, I'm just going to have a look around for the areas that I want to be darker. So we started off here, but also I feel like I want here to be darker so that it really looks like it's under there. So I'm just going to use dots for this part. So right in the corner, right up against it, like so. Just going to use dots, come all the way down, like so. I've got my CG3, and again I'm going to start by going from the edging, just like we did here, just from the edge, and work your way back. Like so. So for example, I feel that that's enough, and I don't need my CG2 because it's light enough for me. Now let's have a look at some more areas. Maybe here. Can tidy up this area a bit, so I'm going to use my CG9 and I'm going in now with my CG3. Now remember, we still want this to be dark, but it doesn't have to be that harsh. I'm using my CG3 to pull on it, and you can see I'm working my way back up like so. And where I feel that it's a bit harsh, do the same thing. I'm still using my CG3, but I'm pulling it up into the strand, some of that color. Now where you can see these blotches, I'm going to pick up my CG2 and now I'm going to start softening them by just using some dots, random dots, or pull method. Like this, and what it's doing, be careful of not going over the color too much, the dark color, because remember, as we was doing it before, it will move it out of the way. Like so. Let's look at some more areas, maybe down here. That was my CG9 going in with my CG2, CG3. And again, all I'm doing is pulling that color down. The reason why I'm not using the CG9 is because it will still make it look quite heavy. So that's the reason why I'm not using it. I want it to really look light and round. So again, I've still got my dark color and I'm just having a look around. Remember, you don't need to put it in every single spot, just where you feel you want it to be darker. So I think maybe here, because the darkness gives the depth. So I'm going in with my CG3 just to soften up those areas. And I'm just using the CG3 to do that. Right, so we're on to our last bit with our white gel pen. So I'm just putting all of these to the side. And for this, you'll need your CG2 and your gel pen. I'm using this particular brand. You can use whatever sort of color brand of white colored gel pens that you like. I just so happen to have this to hand. All right, so now this is where, if I pull the original image up now, this is where we're going to start making these extra little shiny gray bits to add some more texture to it. I move this The idea also is to be wary of the direction in which you are doing this. So what I mean is that each one of the locks, if you look at the lines in front of you, you can see that they're particularly going up in this direction, but with a curl. So we want to make sure that we've got the curl in. So the best place to start, I feel, is at the bottom. So I'm going to do the bottom of each one by in the middle here, just doing a little curve like this. Just a little way up, like so. I'm going to take my CG2 and I'm going to just dab over it, like so. Remember, you can keep going over, like so. And I'm going to go up a bit. Like this, and I'm going to do the same on each part. And remember, what I'm doing each time is I'm going over the white gel pen with the CG2 because it just helps it to blend in a bit more, and it looks more like it's part of the strands. And so, for example, I'll show you a few more examples. I'm going to go like this, just a little bit at a time. Go over it with my CG2. Like this. You may even want to try this, rubbing it in, so it's even more gentle. But this is where I call the magic really starts happening. You really start seeing the strands come into life. With that sprinkle of pure white coming through, or silver. Okay, we're going to stop here. I will leave you to finish off the rest and also the other side of the head of a hair. There is an original image that comes with this tutorial. You'll find that in the Facebook group, Crafting Wellbeing Facebook group, and that's the link below. The images here, this image was created using AI. So because I created it, it's free for you to use. I'm giving you free royalty to use this image. So if you would like to have just the image to do you know, other things, please join me on Facebook. As I said, the link's down below, and also share your work there. It's a private space that's not open to the public, so you have to be a member to see there. So it's a safe space for the community, for us to share what we've been doing and find more inspirational ideas there. So as I said, this is the first part of 3, and hopefully I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye. Thank you for crafting along with me. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel. You are welcome to join Crafting Wellbeing community on Facebook. The link is down below. Goodbye and see you soon.